Hiya, I'm Alan Bates. I'm the founder of Talk for Strength, something I've put together for men. Men are men of my age, 60, 60 plus, coming up to 60. Men that don't want to talk, feel that you can't talk, feel that our dads were a different generation and didn't talk. So why should we? Maybe we've worked in construction, different arenas. Maybe we've been to prison. Maybe we've been involved in things that most people don't get involved in. So the whole thing is basically encouraging people to talk. So on off the back of that, I wrote a book called If It Can Happen to Me. It's a book about my life. It's a biography. It's not a football book. Um, and it's quite controversial really because what I've done, I've I've done the book in three sections. This is the book. This is the book. If it can happen to me, obviously it's a football stadium with it's me in a Lokomat machine. So I'll tell you about the Lokomat machine in a minute. Um, yeah, the idea of the book, it's in three sections. It starts being born in the Archway in the mid-60s, Archway in Islington, North London. It goes through council estate punch ups, um, growing up with pals, whether they're black, white, Irish, Turkish, Greek, no matter what. It could be based on any housing estate in England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland. It's just young uns growing up. So, and coming from London, there was a lot of punch ups in nightclubs down the Lyceum, North London, South London, North London, West London, East London, all of that sort of stuff. So you had 13 football clubs in London, plus you had all the different areas that all seemed to hate each other. So, you go down the nightclubs and there was always a bit of grief. So the book starts in a way that it has to portray a bit of a tough upbringing, a bit of getting involved in stuff. The reason I say it's controversial, I've took a bit of stick off some Arsenal fans. Some of the young uns, I've got no idea who they are. They've wrote some nasty things, as in, no one knows who he is. That's fine. No one should know who I am. I don't care. I'm a nobody that's wrote a book about me. I've not wrote a book about the Arsenal and fighting at Arsenal. I've wrote a book about me. So they've said things like, no wonder he's struggled with mental health. He's been lying all his life. So that's fine. That's fine. They can write what they want. But I will get this across. Blokes of my age and blokes that I look up to at the Arsenal that I've known for 40 odd years have had nothing but positive things to say about the book because they understand what the book's about. The book is not about football. The book is about someone who grew up in the 60s, went to football, went through the phases of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, etc. So, and then ended up in a situation. So we'll go into that in a minute. But the top and bottom of it is, I've took stick about, no one knows who he is. He's a coward. Tottenham turned up and he ran away. It's people can say what they want, but the people that are writing the things about me are people that I don't know. So I've got an idea who they are. I've been told who they are, but it it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to get involved in a he said, she said. The book is about me growing up and the things that happened to me to get where they are, where I am. Now, I've had some brilliant reviews on the book because people have read it and got it. The book's in three sections. It's like I said, it's called If It Can Happen to Me. It's in three sections. The first section is the growing up in North London, the grief, the tear ups, blah, 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 blah. Now, I've had to portray a tough upbringing in order to make the second stage impactful. I got struck down 4 or 5 years ago with a really rare disease. I mean, I live in Germany now, and in Germany is 85 million people, and this disease affects something like 350 to 410 people in Germany in 85 million. Now, what happened was I was having an MRI, and then I couldn't feel my legs during the MRI. It was a long MRI. I couldn't feel my legs. I become paralyzed, and my spinal cord was about to rupture. So I went through a series of surgeries to try and put it right. Woke up from one of the surgeries feeling like I was plugged into an electric chair, and pain like you couldn't fucking imagine. Honestly, it was unbelievable. So we progress into being told by a neurosurgeon who, thought he floated on air and thought his shit didn't stink, that the pain that I was in was decompression from the spinal cord because it was about to rupture, and he saved me. Well, the top and bottom of it wasn't. They gave me a stroke. They gave me a stroke in my spinal cord while I was under the anaesthetic, and while they were trying to fix me, they fucked it. Right, so top and bottom of it is I moved to Germany. I start getting worse. Bear in mind, I've got a son that on May the 2nd is 7. So started a new life, come over here, live in the middle of a forest. It's beautiful. And life takes a turn. I suddenly become completely paralyzed from the chest down, and I have to learn how to walk again. So, things are really not good. So during the process of learning how to walk again, I'm in and out surgeries. I my bladder fails me. I start having to wear a catheter. So, I'm only 56 years old at this time. So, I've got a young son who sees me with a bag of piss hanging off my leg. Then only recently, 6 months ago, my colon started, not 6 months ago, about a year and a half ago, my colon started to fail. We never knew the colon was failing. So what they did, they put a pacemaker in my back, connected to my spine and to my sphincter to stop me pooing myself. So you can imagine now, I've gone from being a normal bloke who goes over the Arsenal, sees his pals, if he's got any, to a bloke who is pissing in a bag, wears a nappy, shitting himself, and basically don't want to be here anymore. I mean, it's the ultimate degradation when you're shitting yourself and wearing a nappy. So I had instances over the Arsenal where if anyone says that I shit myself against Tottenham, I actually did. I fell up the stairs one day at half time, and as I fell up the stairs, I shit myself. So I spent the whole of the second half of the game in the disabled toilets, trying to clear myself up. So, and that fucks with your head. That proper fucks with your head. Well, since then, after many, many surgeries, I think it's 14, 15 surgeries, they realised that my colon was failing me. So I now have a colostomy bag. So I've got a bag coming out my belly, my colon hangs out my belly. And not only do I have to use a catheter to pee, I shit into a bag. So, and I use a crutch to walk. I have to wear a leg brace. So, I'm in a bad way. So this affects your mental health. This really affects your mental health, because I had very much planned where I would do myself. I had, there's the Eder Dam, famous for the Dam Busters film where they had to come in and drop the bouncing bomb to crash the dam. Well, one side of it's about 90 or 100 meters deep. So I could go off the side of that, bang, definitely dead. And the other one was when I go over to England, when I go over the Arsenal or see my boy or anyone else, as I'm driving up down the A2, there's a bit where you're 70 mile an hour, there's no barriers in the road, there's all the foreign lorries coming up. So I could do one there. And I mean, you literally plan it in a way that you would look at your phone, type a text message, throw your phone down the footwell, hit the lorry head on, you're dead, right? So I planned it. So I had it all planned. So, you know, and now you're getting the feel of what the book's about. The first bit is the toughness. The second bit is I felt so weak, so useless. It would be doing everyone a favour to not be here. So, you know, I would cry myself to sleep. I would be in a position where I'd sleep in the dark. I'd be in the dark for 3, 4 days at a time. And my son was wondering what was going on with his dad. You know, he's a little boy, little tiny boy. So, you know, I got to the lowest point you can get to. I really got to the lowest point. And when you start planning your own suicide and you're comfortable with it, quite happy with it, and you're just thinking, all I need now is one knockback, one more knockback, and I'm done. Well, there's a bit in the book that tells you about how I managed to pull myself out of it. I'm not going to go into it on here at this stage. But, you know, I obviously pulled myself out of it, and I still have low points, still have, you know, really low points at this stage. You know, I've done lots of training about motivational psychology, and even though I know all these things, I still get low like the best of them. So um, the third part of the book is I've had some guest writers. I've had Jason Anker, MBE, who has been in a wheelchair for the last 30 years. He snapped his spine, was started going out taking ease, after, you know, in a wheelchair, ended up in a coma, you know, all this stuff. But now he's got an MBE off the Queen for all of his motivational work and everything else. I've got James Ford, who was he was an addiction. He was addicted. He had massive problems, and he tells his story. I've got a couple of other bods, you know, Tottenham, Chelsea, who have told their stories about, you know, being at their lowest point and how they get out of it and how they stay with their heads above water. So the book, if you could be bothered to read it and not get involved in the, oh, Arsenal don't do books, because it isn't an Arsenal book. It's 3 sections. It's a section about a geezer growing up in a rough part of London with a rough upbringing. That rough upbringing could be in Glasgow, could be fucking Edinburgh, could be Newcastle, Liverpool, anywhere. It relates to all of you. The second bit is a normal bloke like me becoming so ill, so lost, even though he's got a lovely wife and a lovely son, lovely grown son in London, so lost that you're crying yourself to sleep. So you're getting it now. The book is about a tough bloke, or thought he was tough. Now he's so broken that all he does is cry. Then we go on to other people that have been in the same position that are telling you their stories and how they got out of it. Now, the whole idea of the book, right, is to encourage people to talk. The podcast I'm going to start doing is called Talk for Help, Talk for Strength. The website is Talk for Strength. It's encouraging people. They don't have to talk to me. Just talk. Go and find someone to talk to, because you'll be surprised how many people have been through it and how many people are actually brave enough to talk, right? So I'm going to start trying to put podcasts together. I've got my first guest lined up, who's a legend, and a lot of people know him. We're going to sit and have a frank conversation. The conversations can be about football. They can be about addiction. They can be about ending up in prison. They can be about disability. They can be about people that have had stomas and, you know, but most importantly, the conversations have got to be ending in a way that you can try and put a positive light on things. They've got to be ending in a way that, you know, you're kind of not telling people what they should do, but you're telling people how you did it. And if they think they can relate to it, maybe they can use some of your advice. So the conversations, look, I'm laying my soul bare for this. I really believe that men need to talk. It's an epidemic. There's too many people dying, right? I've been in construction 42 years. I know people that have killed themselves. Probably all of us know someone who's killed themselves. I know of a person that killed himself, and I was actually avoiding a bit because I couldn't. This was a few years ago, 10 years ago. I didn't want to listen to him anymore. So when I see him walking towards me, I kind of swerved. I picked up my phone, made out I was talking. So if I knew now what I knew then, I wouldn't have to live with that guilt. But then again, look, that's where we are. Talk. Don't turn your back on your mates. Don't you know leave your pals that have been a bit sad or a bit low alone. Just see how they are. Ask them how they are. And if they turn around and say, "Yeah, I'm fine," we know that's the worst thing that anyone can hear. Just turn around and say, "No, really. If you want to talk, you can talk." And you don't have to talk to them. All you got to do is listen, right? So look, I'm going to start inviting people to DM me, email me. If anyone would like to talk, we can do it in a way where we can see your face. We can do it in a way where it's just our voices. But I'm asking anyone if they would like to come on a podcast and they feel their story is of benefit to others, if they feel that their story is just them releasing like some sort of confession where you just leave at the end of the podcast feeling, fucking hell, I feel so much better for getting that out. All I want to do is help people, right? Or give people the opportunity to seek help. But it don't have to be me that's doing this. It 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 just needs to be that you can see someone who's got big enough bollocks to put himself out there, right? And let you, if you're that sort of person, mock me, take the piss out of me. You can do what you want. I do not give two fucks what you want to say about me, right? If you were clever enough to realize that this is being done for the right reason, right? This is being done for blokes to be able to find somewhere to talk, to open up, to just know that someone's there for them, right? If I, for all the shit you lot are giving me, a few of you cunts are giving me, right? If I can help one person, right, it's worth all the shit you've given me, right? And the ones that are giving me all the shit, I don't think you've actually read the book and got it. So I've been forced into doing this to break the book down to the free, tough, weak, help. Now you can probably feel a little bit embarrassed now you're listening to this. So look, you know where I am. You can get me. There's Talk for Strength Instagram. There's Talk for Strength TikTok. There's me. You know I am Alan Bates. You can get me on Facebook. You can DM me anytime. Loads of people got my number. If you ever want to talk or you feel that you can be of benefit coming on to a podcast and having a bunny, please do so. Please do so. It's we need to let blokes know that they're not fucking weak. And sorry for my language, but that's how I want it to be. I want this podcast to be that it's us. You know, if you're a Scouser or whatever, you're from Birmingham, talk how you talk. If you come on here, talk how you talk and let people see that it's real. There's no airs, no graces. Let people see and understand that this is who we are. This is who we were. This is how we've got here. This is how we deal with it. So that's it. The book, again, is If It Can Happen to Me. You can get it on Amazon. If you want to buy it, buy it. If you don't fucking buy it. The idea of the book was to help, not to make loads of money. Because I tell you straight, I get £2.26 per book that's fucking sold on Amazon. So it ain't going to make me rich. So it's not about trying to earn a pound note out of the book. It's about getting a message across. So look, that's me done. Hopefully you will get in touch. hopefully we can. I'm quite happy to be interviewed. So if anyone wants to have a chat with me, who's got an up and running podcast, you know where I am. I'm going to start getting it done. I'm going to start working out what I have to do with this Riverside thing, and so I can interview people and send you a link and all that stuff. Let's get it going. Let's let's let everyone realise what's out there, and what's out there is people willing to listen. So thanks for giving me 20 minutes of your time. If you scrolled off of me as soon as I started talking, then fuck you. And if you stuck with it, please tell your friends. Please send the link on and let people realise there's someone out there for them. Cheers. Thanks.